Welcome, Minister Varadkar, to the House. The next motion is Senator Thomas Byrne, and I understand you're sharing some time with Senator Whelan. Senator Byrne.
Yes, thanks very much to the Minister, and best wishes to him, but thanks for coming to the Seanad today. I'm speaking, Minister, about young man John Duggan.
Refrain from naming people on the record of the House.
The gentleman himself is in the first seat there beside the door at the front row of the gallery. He's a young man from Belliouston, County Meath, and I believe that he deserves the chance of a normal life and indeed the chance of life. John was diagnosed with paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria in 2010. It's an extremely rare blood disorder which is characterised by the breakdown of red blood cells, as I'm sure the Minister will know only too well as a doctor himself. I understand that about a third of patients with PHN die within 5 years. In John's case, PHN is resulting in him having blood transfusions every 6 weeks or so. He's lethargic and he greatly fears blood clots. In his own words, he describes his prognosis as, "I'm getting worse and worse. There's every chance I will have a heart attack or kidney failure. A blood clot is definitely coming, and this is not a time for messing around." There is a treatment available, Minister, as you will know, for PHN. It's an expensive treatment, which I acknowledge it's expensive, called Soliris, and the chemical name is eculizumab, which has been shown to normalise life expectancy for those receiving it. As I understand it, and this is part of the crux of the matter, 10 patients in Ireland have already been prescribed Soliris, funded by the HSE, and I understand from contacts Mr. Duggan has had with some of those that it's working very well. Mr. Duggan, and one other that I'm aware of, and I'm sure it's a person that Senator Whelan is aware of, has been refused it. This strikes me, Minister, as fundamentally wrong, unethical and unfair. How can the state arbitrarily decide that Mr. Duggan is different from those already being given the medicine by the state? How were these decisions made? May I quote from John's GP, Dr. Oliver Lynn? He stated,
to refrain from putting
I'm quoting
names
from
of people
on the
record of the House.
They're already on a public record. I will urge the HSE to consider providing to this young man the correct treatment before he reaches catastrophic thrombosis, which would be a catastrophe. I won't name his consultant, but I'm going to quote from his consultant hematologist. Giving the overwhelming evidence that eculizumab is the only effective therapy for PHN, and given that the HSE are already funding eculizumab therapy for 10 patients, I believe there is a very strong moral, ethical argument that the HSE should agree to fund eculizumab. Minister, please, with your officials and the relevant body and the HSE, please reconsider the decision here. Please give this man and the other person that I know of affected by this a chance of life. Please don't tell him and his wife Aileen that there is no hope for them.
Senator Whelan.